Welcome back to the Daily Fact. Now, before we go to our next guest, let me give you an update with regards to the COVID-19 stacks amongst the Muslim community. And Gauteng again continues to be the highest amongst the provinces of Muslim deaths. 29 new deaths were reported, with 19 of it coming from Gauteng. May Allah grant the marhum Jannatul Firdaus, inshallah, ameen, and make it easy on their families. Well, the Pretoria Legacy Foundation is a non-profit organization, and its aim is to make sure the rich heritage of the Muslim and the Indian community of the city of Pretoria is maintained, and helping many people who are in dire need, especially those from the underprivileged community and the poor. Now, joining me to discuss the work that is being done by the Pretoria Legacy Foundation, I'd like to welcome the spokesperson, of it, Ismail Abramjee. Assalamu alaikum, Ismail, and Jazakallah so much for joining us.
Yes, wa alaikum salam, and thank you to your ITV station, and greetings to your listeners and your viewers.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Ismail, just give us a breakdown of the Pretoria Legacy Foundation and the work it's doing, especially now during this pandemic.
Well, for us, the Pretoria Legacy Foundation was conceptualized some years ago, but it has become a very active organization since the beginning of this year. As you correctly pointed out in your introduction, the purpose was basically to record the history of the communities, and also to pay homage to our forebears who went through difficult trials and tribulations. And for all the work that they did, we thought that we need to recognize them, and we need to record our history as far as all the different communities are concerned. But also, more importantly, we realized that there was a need for community leadership, and there was also a need to promote different aspects of the communities insofar as welfare is concerned, and to try and coordinate very different types of needs that the community may arise, but more importantly, also to promote social cohesion.
Ismail, you mentioned it, social cohesion, and we know the community, especially in Lodium and many of the other Indian and Muslim areas within Pretoria, there's always a close, tight-knit community. And this is something that you can attach to the Pretoria Legacy Foundation. Am I right?
Yes. Look, Pretoria has been very fortunate in that it has got a very, very strong history of absolutely great community organizations. There's so many different groupings and associations that play different parts in the community, and they always rise to the challenge whenever there's a need. And we wanted to pay homage to them. We wanted to say that, thank you, you guys are doing excellent work. But what we realize is that with the latest crisis insofar as the COVID situation is concerned, we were approached and asked if we could just provide a little bit more of leadership to all the different community organizations, and also to provide a platform where we can coordinate the different activities of these organizations and find out what are the most pressing and urgent need that some of these groupings may have. And that is why we've broadened our wings a little bit, and we had a very successful Zoom conference on Monday night where over 70 community organizations and representatives joined us. And there was unanimous consensus that there is a need to coordinate all these different types of activities so that we ensure that we get the best for our community, especially during the current COVID crisis.
Ismail, now moving to our present, and as you ended off, our COVID-19 crisis, it has caused high unemployment, it has caused poverty. And of course, I know that the Pretoria Legacy Foundation can't cure all of that. There has to be government, and there has to be corporates and many other organizations in order to make sure that we can, decrease the unemployment levels within our country. But what is the work that the Legacy Foundation is doing just to help those from the underprivileged areas, and especially the poor?
Well, look, like I said earlier, there are so many organizations that have got different feeding schemes that help the poor. So we didn't want to duplicate any of the functions that's currently being carried out by these organizations. All we wanted to do was get them under an umbrella, identify problem areas, and see if we can coordinate some of the activities. But what we found that there was a need for us to try and concentrate on was to issue a very strong statement to the community insofar as, for example, compliance with the lockdown regulations is concerned. We needed to send out a strong message to the community that please do not send out and forward all these chain WhatsApp messages and conspiracy theories on misinformation and disinformation about the vaccines, because there is a growing scourge in that a lot of people are now hesitant to take the vaccines because of all this misinformation. So we decided that we need to send out a positive message emphasizing the importance of vaccines. We brought in all the different doctors' organizations like the Pretoria Medical Discussion Groups, and we are appealing to the public, please do not follow all these conspiracy theories. When you have an opportunity, go and take a vaccine. It's important. Follow the lockdown laws, follow the regulations, and abide by the law. But more importantly, during our Zoom conference, various stakeholders identified certain areas, and I think you might have touched on one of them. During this current crisis and also with this lingering lockdown, there have been many incidences where there is now a need to offer mental and anxiety help to certain members of the community, because a lot of people are suffering from depression. Old age people are getting very, very bored, and they also need to keep their minds occupied. So we've identified a whole long list of priorities that we need to act as pointsmen for our different communities and different organizations that they can concentrate on.
Ismail Abramjee, the spokesperson for the Pretoria Legacy Foundation. We say all the best with the stellar work that the foundation is doing. May Allah continue to grant you and the rest of the organization the ability to continue this good work, inshallah. Ameen. And we say Jazakallah to you for making the time for us.
Thank you so much for us, and thank you to ITV.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Well, we see the work that the Pretoria Legacy Foundation is doing, and we acknowledge it, and we say, Alhamdulillah, continue the good work in helping the various communities within our country. Well, coming up after the break, it will be our sports update, so do stay tuned.